Here we are at the F1 Broadcasting Centre in Biggin Hill, Bromley, in the UK, and this was a special moment for us here at Lover of Cars.
This is a broadcast and main place where everything you see in relation to F1 on our screens happens. That's TV, mobile, laptop, and tablets. And this place is the epicenter of all those worlds coming into one.
In partnership with the kind folks at Lenovo and with F1, we are here for the first time being given a glimpse of how things work when it comes to F1 broadcasts.
On the back of that, we were given a rare opportunity to sit down with key personnel who helped us understand the operational deliverance of what happens from track to media center to our screens.
Without wasting much time, let's get into it.
Right, we're getting started. So, Formula One Broadcasting Centre, Biggin Hill.
Yes.
So we're here all together. This is us here at Lover of Tech, Lover of Cars, Lover of Tech Team, Lover of Tech Media. Lots of different Lover ofs, but we're here. We pretty much love everything, all things related to technology and Formula One and racing.
You're in a good place then.
Yeah, we are, which we're really privileged. If you could just introduce yourself, just so our audience knows who you are.
Yeah, my name's Dean Locke. I'm Director of Broadcast Media and Digital for Formula One. I look after all broadcast media products, so whether that's the world feed that you would see on 60 broadcasters in 170 territories, or digital assets, social, F1 TV, all assets and products of Formula One.
Awesome. Well, we will introduce ourselves to you formally as well. My name is Ben Abuaji, so pretty much the founder of Lover of Tech Media, so all things related to Lover of Tech and Lover of Cars. So Lover of Tech is all things related, consumer electronics and stuff. Lover of Cars is something that we officially started together. This was last year at the beginning of January 2023. So we co-host that together, and all things related to automotive, reactions, reviews, and for us, big into F1. So I'll run it to T to introduce himself to you as well.
I'm Tatenda, also known as TT, co-host Lover of Cars with Ben. I also distribute the content across the whole platform, so that's Lover of Tech, Lover of Cars, Lover of Gaming, Lover of Cameras. We also do a cut-down show where we do live streams during the week, and we cut them down, and that's something that's going to be coming into Lover of Cars side, because we're just recently, everyone's releasing the 2024 livery. We've been on the nose, doing our
mainly
reaction.
him.
Me.
Mainly him. We're making sure he's on it.
I've been on it so that we know. We had loads of traction last year for our social platforms, where people, whilst the teams release something, they also want someone to go, actually, what do you think about it?
Yeah.
So that's me in a nutshell.
Sounds good, very busy.
Yeah, try to be. So we're really glad to be here, and just thank you for your time. Just to take out and just kind of let us know how things have progressed on a broadcast level to just be here. So, what's your thoughts on it to get to this point where we're actually able to come experience it?
Well, you've had a tour of the Media and Technology Centre. So we built that last year. Started it Monday morning after Abu Dhabi, finished it.
Last race of the season.
Finished it a week before Bahrain testing, so it was a little tight. But it was the next part of our remote operation. The calendar for Formula One is ever increasing.
Absolutely.
Sustainability, quite a big thing for Formula One, and we've got some real good targets for 2030. So really sort of not taking so much kit and not taking so many people is important. But actually there was another big part to it, is actually making what we do easier and better. So firstly, not moving kit around the world on planes and trucks, and dropping them off trucks and things like that, really is much more healthy for that kit. Leaving it here in one situation with an air-conned environment. So reliability goes through the roof, so that's really good. But also testing new kit and new innovations. If you can imagine sort of dark testing or launching something not on the world feed, but building up to the world feed, we have to take racks of equipment out to the race and people to test that. Here we can really sort of test systems to see if it's right and appropriate for Formula One before we bring them. So actually that whole bringing things to broadcast and market is happening a lot quicker as well. Nice.
That's a really, really good breakdown to think of.
What sort of challenges have you faced when you said you started it at the end of one season and you're ready for the next season? A facility like this, I can imagine there's been challenges and changes you've learnt from that as you go to the next phase of change. you'll learn from that and take them to the next one?
Yeah, I think Formula One is very innovation friendly.
Yeah.
It's the nature of Formula One, and sports broadcasting is very
changes.
It's very big on innovation as well. So the two combined, is that kind of supreme example, really. So, we were first to be a regular UHD broadcaster. We're first UHD, HDR. Using AI and replays, we were one of the first. Regional feeds, we were one of the first. So we're on the forefront of that technology platforms. And of course, our partners, our broadcast partners, they expect, a tier one product from us as well. Yeah. So, and best in class at that. So we don't sit still between seasons. We normally have a roadmap for the following year, exactly what that's going to be. And that's also in our technical cycle. So we're in a big transition to IP at the moment. Yeah. So we're in our next part of IP. Yeah. So all our replay systems, brand new replay systems we've installed this year. Some team radio, upgrades, things like that. But also AR, VR. How can we engage and entertain the fan a little bit better?
Yeah, it's still an entertainment sport, right?
And that leads me to the next question. How is AR and VR going to be incorporated in what we see as fans in the next, up until 2026, where regulations change again, or we have to look at something else?
It's a really good point about the regulations 26, because that has impact on us as well. So it is a valid point in that. I think AR, VR, as being tech lovers, it sort of goes up and down, doesn't it? The interest in it, really.
It does.
I think for us, we sort of trace that, and we've done some elements. I think augmented reality is probably a big step for us at the moment.
Yeah,
we've done some pilots. So we did a kids car, so Formula One for kids. We had some really good fun in there, and we did loads of VR in that actually, in AR. And we sort of took some away and went, that actually works in the normal feed as well. So just bringing messaging, graphics alive. Yeah. Some of the graphics in Formula One, they're a lot of numbers, a lot of data. Formula One's data driven. So actually, how can we make them a little bit more impactful? We've got a new type of fan. Yeah. We've got a very diverse fan base. So we have people that are entrenched in Formula One and about strategy and things like that. But also we've got younger demographic of fans, lots of female new fans as well. How do we bring some of those maybe, less dramatic graphics to life? So actually using sort of augmented reality for that. 3 laps to go, 10 laps to go, things like that.
And it's adding to that. I mean, you're seeing companies bring out more of these commercialized version of these products, right? Not just in the medical field. You're seeing companies bring out more accessible AR products, and are you working more closely with them to make sure that, that experience is much more tangible? We're seeing a lot of demos of, AR headsets where you've got track positionings of the car happening at the same time as a visualization, as a concept, right?
Yeah, I think visualization of anything in Formula One is important, and the best way, simplest form to do that, and tangible, I think is a good word to use for that. But then you also have to keep in mind sport, live sport watching. How do people actually do that? Is that with a headset on? Yeah. Or isn't that in a group of people watching it together? So using the right technology in the right place, I think is a really important asset. Yeah. But also really cool things, and how to visualize them is also, hugely important as well. But also working with partners as well, to say, well, what are you doing in your space? Look at the issues we have and the problems we have. How can we work together on that? Looking at their roadmaps, because they're advanced as well, and they're thinking on what the consumer wants and where they're seeing those trends. And we've got to meet that. If everybody's moving to one direction, we've got to follow that. At the moment, it's live sport, interestingly enough, is still a very sort of, passive experience of watching it. I do think being able to tailor that feed is really important. So, one fan might want a different graphics package or a different commentary to another fan, engaged or not engaged and things like that. And that's something we should be able to tailor that, so it's not always one size fits all.
Are you seeing more and more fans or more new fans come through the likes of your F1 TV side or your social media posts? Because most of us that aren't, well, I say most, we're deep F1 fans, but you can tell when someone goes, oh, I've seen it on Instagram, and it's identical to a similar live that you get on a YouTube channel. Are you seeing that fans are returning because they get uniformed approaches from you guys, or people just pick it up as they went and drop it off?
So yeah, multiple answers to that question. In that, I think that firstly, years ago there was one lens into Formula One, which was Sunday afternoon, watch the race if you're in Europe.
And you can afford it.
And now there's different lenses into Formula One. So if you are in North America and the race is at 4 a.m, you may well catch the highlights on a social channel, which is okay. You know, any lens into Formula One, you're still a fan and fan engagement as well. And that might mean when the races are in your time zone, you do watch it in a traditional broadcast feed. And the traditional broadcast feed is still ever increasingly popular. So I think you're right about, but you still want that quality experience across all platforms. So if we do a 12-minute highlight, that 12-minute highlight has got to be absolute tier 1 product.
It's got to slap.
Yeah.
Basically, as we say.
And it's got to have impact and do everything. So we're looking at all our content channels and all these lenses into the sport. You know, whether that is a doco series, whether that is some of the long form content we do, or even the short form content, it's still got to be Formula One and best in class in that way. And like you said, if you are, a teenager that's into Formula One and don't always catch the live feed, but you still want to engage with the news. And I think some of the new fans, research we've done, I think they're surprised how much there is in Formula One. We talk about transfer day in football, exciting day. There's news in Formula One every week, almost every day. It's not just a Sunday afternoon thing. And one piece of research that we've done, they just didn't know that. They didn't know that once they were in, there was so much they could start engaging with. But when we've got to provide that engagement, and off season, we can't just go quiet.
Sit down,
So to wrap this up, so we can really just appreciate the time that we're having here. Where do you hope to see things go, broadcasting level, into the next decade? We know regulations are changing in 2026. Then into the next decade, we know things move in the decades and how things change in the eras, right? The people that grow up as kids or turning into adults, getting into F1. What do you hope broadcasting would get to at that level to make it even more accessible to them?
I think if we're talking about the world feed, in particular, which is our biggest product, we're a UHD HDR broadcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Dynamic range, we love it.
I'm not seeing people desperate for 8K, 16K, and beyond necessarily at this point. And talking to our broadcast partners the same, but we've got to have engaging content. We saw that a couple of years ago when we brought in things like helmet cameras, new onboard angles.
Visor cams.
Brought people closer to the action. What we're hoping to do with the 26 regulations is possibly get a bigger pipe to the car. So getting content off a car that's going 200 miles an hour in a really harsh environment is difficult, but we want to get more off that. So can we bring live 360 off a car? Actually panning around. Can we get multiple onboard angles off a car simultaneously? Can we get more data off the car? So we actually could bring that fan closer to that car. There is a detachment, isn't there, from a fan who, more than likely won't get to drive a Formula One car. Or sit in one. So being able to sort of bring that experience or what it actually is like, whether that's riding a racehorse or getting on a Formula One car, we've got to make it more tangible, as we said a bit earlier. So 26, with the new regulations, we just want more product. We want more experience off that car to bring that in. And I think, AR will be part of that. Because actually, how do you bring that into the feed as well? Actually bringing that in an AR way. You saw a few years ago when we brought the sort of dashboard graphic in across the halo. Actually, what can we do more? Can we project that, like you do in a road car these days where you have it on your windscreen? Can we project that car data forward onto the track and things like that as well? It's a really fun place to work because you get to try and visualize that and do some of that.
Well, we're in Candyland at the minute, so we really appreciate your time. We appreciate
we're happy to show this place off.
And you should be proud to show it off. So honestly, thank you for having us. Pleasure. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Really glad to be here. Thank you.